Just because something burns, it doesn't mean it's actually building muscle and giving you that aesthetic change you're looking for. And stuff like that in particular, it's like when you isolate small muscles with small movement and little weights, you are training muscular endurance, which elicits that burning sensation. But it's not stimulating the body from a muscular standpoint in a way to break down muscle fibers that would then actually help you to build muscle. So I want to set the record straight that I don't hate group fitness classes. I like them for what they are. If you found this podcast from my Instagram page, I'm like, don't go to group fitness. And it's just because I'm specifically talking to women who are trying to build muscle, they're trying to drop body fat, they probably have been going to group fitness classes, and they're like, why the fuck am I not seeing the results that I want? Why am I not in this like tone tight body? And it's because group fitness classes are not designed to help you build muscle and get that kind of result. And what irks me is how women think they need to sweat by doing cardio in order to get this like toned body. So they go to group fitness classes versus learning how to use weights, because you don't sweat the same way. And group fitness, I think it is great for new people to get into the routine of fitness. I think it is a safe space to go to the gym and get into a nice routine. But to get into a group routine, I think group fitness is great to be in community with other people and just like vibe, tribe all together, have the endorphins like flowing for you. And certain group fitness classes have additional great benefits, like cycling, especially if you are an outdoor cyclist and it's wintertime and you need to figure out how to continue to get that kind of workout in, but maybe you don't want to do it in like under 30-degree weather, so you go take a cycling class instead. Or yoga. I think yoga is incredible for mobility and clearing the mind and connecting to your breath and your body. I love dance classes for the sake of moving and feeling like a sexy bitch. I used to teach this one HIIT class in New York City, and it was just the best. And it was the best because of the vibe and the tribe. These men and women were training at 6 a.m. and it felt like we were literally in like this music video designed to take over the world. And it was this incredible hour of the week that was waitlisted, and everybody just wanted to be a part of it. And like a lot of these group fitness classes, they have benefits, but they aren't going to be what necessarily allows you to achieve a specific goal. And something that I have seen a lot in my 10 plus years of experience as a fitness professional is a lot of times women, they are looking to lose weight and build muscle because they do want to look toned. And the main reason that these classes aren't going to work is because there's just not heavy enough weights. There's not long enough rest intervals. And in a group fitness class, you're not using progressive overload, and you need those variables in order to build muscle. So long as you know why you're going to a group fitness class and you have a realistic expectation of what you're actually going to get out of it, I think it can be great. And for anyone who is hearing this, especially as we're beginning 2025 and you're taking classes because you're like, I don't really know what else to do, or like, this is motivating me to go to the gym, I think that's freaking awesome. And I think new gym users and classes, they go together really well to develop that habit of motivation and fitness. And something that you might find interesting is the fact that before I became a kettlebell queen, I was a true cardio queen. I was a group fitness junkie. So I got started in the fitness industry back in 2013. I was this cute little college student in New York City when boutique fitness was just like exploding. I took my first class at SoulCycle, and 45 minutes later I was like, okay, I don't care about college. I just care about figuring out how to live at SoulCycle. And I remember walking home after my first class limping, because at SoulCycle, it's a rhythm ride and the instructor like never tells you when to switch your down leg to the other leg. So I'm limping down the street of Chelsea and I see this red glowing room and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And it's Barry's boot camp. And I'm just like staring at these people who are like running on treadmills, and it just like it is a vibe, it is a scene. And I remember thinking, I need to be a part of that too. I literally texted my boyfriend and I was like, okay, I don't care about musical theater anymore. I know that's why I'm here, but I think fitness is where I really want to be spending my time. And I think that's kind of concerning. Just because something looks really cool, it doesn't mean you should throw everything else to the side and abandon your goals. I remember, oh gosh, this was fucking crazy. There was a boutique boxing studio that came out like right before the pandemic hit, and they had a bar, like a liquor bar. They had a liquor license in the studio, and their whole thing was like, we work out and then we party. And it's like, if that's what you're about, cool. But if you're crushing a cardio workout and then taking shots and wondering why you don't have a six-pack, it's obviously. Back in my early fitness days, all I really wanted was to be skinny. I thought the toned look was really cool, but I had no idea how to achieve it. So in order to just stay skinny, I did a lot of cardio, and I spent a lot of time in the spin studio. And I loved being in there because it was just like hot as fuck, and I would sweat buckets, and the instructors would say stuff like, sweat is fat melting away. But in reality, sweat is actually just your body's cooling mechanism. And I still see this, like when I'm scrolling on Instagram, I'll see these like cute little young instructors, and they're like, yeah, sweat is fat melting away. And I'm just like, you're really, you're so cute. And I just want to jump through the screen and be like, that's not how it works. Sweat is not fat melting away. It makes me kind of furious because when we keep hearing stuff like that, we believe it. Or like I had a phase where I got really into bar. I was like into pure bar, and I always felt, oh, when I'm like doing the arm stuff like this, if you're watching the YouTube video, like what's going on? I'm just like lifting my arms. I would do these isolated small exercises with 3-pound weights, and my arms would be burning. And I thought, wow, I'm working so hard. Like obviously I'm going to get this like small, lean body. But again, just because something burns, it doesn't mean it's actually building muscle and giving you that aesthetic change you're looking for. And stuff like that in particular, it's like when you isolate small muscles with small movement and little weights, you are training muscular endurance, which elicits that burning sensation. But it's not stimulating the body from a muscular standpoint in a way to break down muscle fibers that would then actually help you to build muscle. So doing stuff like that, it will make you better at a bar class. Like you'll probably be like the baddest bitch at bar no matter what studio you go to. But that kind of training, just because it burns, it's not actually building muscular definition. And if you're somebody who's actually trying to lose fat, you want to build muscle because more muscle helps you to speed up your metabolism, and that's what helps you to drop fat. I remember trying all of the crazy classes. I went to one that was fucking bonkers. There was a strobe light. I kid you not. There was a strobe light. It was like pitch black disco ball strobe light. 13 instructors for 26 stations. It was a HIIT studio. And I remember I was trying to get on the treadmill. Yeah, they had like machines in it too. There was like a Stairmaster. There's a rower, a treadmill. I'm like trying to get on the treadmill. Meanwhile, I'm like kind of blind and I can't see what's going on. And I just eat it as I step onto the platform because I couldn't see what was going on. Meanwhile, there's 13 instructors. You would think somebody could help me, but whatever. So that was crazy. And I think the craziest workout that I did was at Tone House. I went to Tone House maybe 10 times while I was in the city. And it was one of those things where it was like, ooh, I kind of want to do it. I just want to see, like, can I do it? But I would go to Tone House and I would just have so much anxiety. Like there was a part of the workout where you would do all of these athletic drills and you would have to like race each other across the floor. And I would always just get these crazy pelvic floor cramping attacks because I would just be so anxious because I never wanted to be the last one in these athletic drills. Anyways, there was just something about the vibe and wanting to be there. And that makes me think back to Barry's, and that vibe, it was just so hot. I made an Instagram post earlier this summer and I got canceled by some of my followers because of it, because I compared Barry's boot camp to BDSM, but like Seriously, you're in this red room, thank you, Mr. Gray. You're overstimulated with this like loud banging music. And the instructor that I would go to was like this little stern Napoleon complex man who would just yell at us, and the whole room would just be like, yes, Daddy, I'll do anything you
Are
say.
you ready to start building strength but feel overwhelmed by complicated workouts and influencers on social media? Foundations is your answer. If you're new to strength training and want a simple, effective way to get stronger, build muscle, and drop body fat, Foundations was designed just for you. What you'll need to get started are just 3 kettlebells. That's it. These 3 kettlebells are all you need to unlock your strength, start building muscle, and start seeing real results. There's no fancy moves, no complicated routines, just the basics that will help you to progress safely and confidently. What you'll get when you join: simple, proven exercises where you will master foundational movements like squats, deadlifts, and presses that will give you strength and confidence. A progressive training program, step-by-step video and written guidance to help you improve no matter where you are starting from. A safe, effective training routine. You'll get to focus on form and build a body that's strong from the inside out. And the best part, it's DIY. You can start right away, no waiting around. You just buy the program today and you get to start building strength from the comfort of your home. You don't need to be fancy to get strong. You just need a solid foundation and the right approach. Foundations is perfect for the woman who is new to strength training and wants to take it at her own pace. She wants to feel empowered, she wants to feel strong, and she wants to feel more confident in her body. If you're ready to begin, visit www.colleenconlon.com for more details and grab your Foundations program today. Again, all you need are 3 kettlebells. I'll take care of the rest.
Like, the control he had was bananas, and this class was so hard to get into. And it makes me think back to one of my first group fitness managers. I first started teaching. I was this 21-year-old coming in from Delaware at the time. I was in high school in Delaware, and I came from this conservative religious family. I was in Catholic school, and the feedback I would get when I was teaching was, you're too nice. You are talking as if like you're a kindergarten school teacher. And I was like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do? And this manager like pulled me aside one day, and she was like, this gorgeous, petite, little like Jessica Rabbit looking woman. And she was like, Colleen, pretend like you're a dominatrix. And I remember thinking, well, what's a dominatrix? So I Googled it, and I was like, okay, Jessica's on drugs. Nobody wants me like that. Then I started noticing when I was taking other classes, oh, there's a lot of people who are like putting out this vibe, and not really in like the soft classes, like not in the yoga, the Pilates, the bar classes, but these intense high energy classes. The instructors that were just dominating had this like mommy, daddy, wild, intense energy about them, where it was like people were just like waiting for them to be like mean and kind of dominating to them. And I think that's something worth bringing up right now, because I think for a lot of people, when you start working out, it's not even about the fitness that you're getting. It's the energy of the person instructing you that you want to be around. And in some of these classes, you know, I would see these instructors programming the craziest shit, and people would do it. And I think it's because of wanting to belong, like being a part of this like fitness cult, these like fitness groups where it's like, I'm not going to question anything that's happening because I just want to be in your presence. I want to be a part of this thing. I think if that's something that's like motivating you to be moving, like the energy of the instructor or like the vibe, the community, I think that's really great. But know that when you want to make more specific results happen, because maybe you're seeing a plateau or you're just not seeing the progress you're looking for, it might be because what you're doing is not the right thing for your goal. And I know you might want to be with that particular instructor or trainer in that particular element telling you what to do, but that might not be what you need in order to achieve your particular fitness goals. And I'm going to use the toned example again. So I was a part of the group fitness scene up until 2020. That's when I took my business fully virtual. And then when I started my kettlebell business online, I ended up having a lot of my group fitness clients follow me. And a lot of these women, when I would then talk to them one-on-one, they're like, I want to be lean, I want to be strong, I want to look toned, I want to look like you. And it didn't matter to them that we weren't doing classes. It didn't matter to them that they weren't doing jump squats and a lot of cardio. I think for them, it was just like, whatever Colleen's doing, I'm going to do it too. It's working for her, it's going to work for me. And I'm so glad that the women who chose to follow me into the kettlebell world, given the pandemic, did, because I truly believe they have now set their future selves up for so much success because they traded in all of the cardio for muscle. And that's an incredible gift to give to yourself. But it's also wild to me to think that if the pandemic didn't happen, they would probably still have just continued doing all of the crazy cardio that we were doing. And sometimes I think people, they see an instructor or a trainer's body and they think that they need to do what that person is doing. And I'll see it now on social media where a fitness influencer can post whatever they want and people will just start doing the workout because they're like, oh, well, that's what she's showing me to do. So if it worked for her, it's going to work for me. But that might not actually be what they are doing in order to achieve their aesthetic. So right when I got started with kettlebells, I remember going to this private training studio in Manhattan, and I noticed this woman who looked really familiar, and it was right around the time Peloton first launched, and Robin was doing barbell back squats, and I remember thinking, wait, she's the Peloton woman, like why is she lifting? She cycles. And that was really eye-opening for me at the time. Speaking as a fitness professional, you have to hustle to make this job into a career. So sometimes you're teaching stuff that you are qualified to teach to the masses, but it's not what you would necessarily be doing as your fitness routine to make progress and get a particular result. Like back in those days, the end of my group fitness days, I began lifting, but I wasn't teaching lifting classes. And I think a lot of women wanted a body like mine at the time, but I wasn't teaching kettlebells. I was teaching like tuck jumps and reverse burpees. And to any woman who ever took a group fitness class with me and wanted to look like me and thought, if I take Colleen's classes, I'll look like her, here's what I want to say. I'm sorry you thought that. To achieve a toned look in a healthy way, you need to lift heavy weights. And we're going to bookmark that. You need to lift heavy weights with progressive overload at least 3 times a week. And you need to eat the right foods to build muscle. It can't just be like healthy foods. You need the right amount of protein, fat, carbs for your frame to make it happen. And then on top of it, let's say you have more than like 20 pounds of fat to lose. You probably need to spend some time in a calorie deficit at some point for a few months. Cardio alone, it's not going to help because it doesn't build muscle. Cardio classes are great to help you burn calories for that hour. Like you're going to burn more calories in a cardio class than you are in a strength training session. But the way you burn more calories is by building muscle. And that's going to give your muscle shape. And it's going to be what speeds up your metabolism and helps you to drop more body fat. So if you're just focused on doing cardio and you have the wrong eating habits, you're not going to get that toned physique. And okay, so going back to the bookmark. So lifting heavy, I want to talk about that. Lifting heavy is relative. So what's heavy for the 28-year-old elite power lifter is going to be different than what's heavy for the 33-year-old woman who just had a baby. I want you to think of lifting heavy as an intensity thing. If you haven't heard the podcast episode from season 1 where I talk about strength training, go listen to that next. Lifting heavy. Your last few reps, they need to feel really flippin' hard. And as they're really flipping hard, you still have good form. You can do it, but it's a smack to the face. You want the recovery. And let's focus on hypertrophy. So hypertrophy is, again, like a strength training term. It means that we are lifting with a particular goal of building muscle. So typically when you're doing hypertrophy work, you're working in an 8 to 12 rep range. And if you're using a weight where you can lift more than 12 reps, you're not lifting heavy. But if you're using a weight where you can do 8, but it's really challenging, it might not even be possible to hit 12 reps, that is you lifting heavy. And if you want to know more about that, again, go back to that season 1 episode. So as we wrap, whether you are lifting weights or taking group fitness classes, just taking the time to exercise, it is a win. And if you are doing that, I am so freaking proud of you. Now, if you're feeling frustrated because you're already taking the time to work out, but you aren't seeing the results that you want, even though you are putting in the time, you have to acknowledge that not all fitness is designed to give you the same result. So let's take a moment and just ask yourself, is my current fitness routine in alignment with my goals? If it is, great. If it's not, next question. Am I doing this because it's fun, familiar, or because I think it's actually what I should be doing to get the results I want? Now, imagine this. What would happen if you shifted to something more in alignment with your goals? What challenges might you face? Do you believe you could overcome them? How could life look differently if you did? Sometimes stepping out of your comfort zone and trying a new approach, like focusing on strength training or incorporating in heavier weights, it can lead to big, and if what you're doing right now, it's not really working out the way you hoped, it's worth exploring something different.
Thanks for tuning in. If this episode hit home, don't forget to leave a rating and review. Women are stronger together, so share this with a woman who you want to see rise. When we embrace positive takeaways, we level up, and when we share them, we change the world. Follow us on Instagram at The Dangerous Women Podcast and let us know what you want to hear next. And remember, dangerous women redefine wellness and the world. So be fierce, be authentic, be dangerous.